Welcome to this 10 minutes expert insights video podcast. I'm Erik Larsson with Enea, and in this series of videos, we're talking to experts about trends and challenges in networking and telecoms. For our conversation today, I'm delighted to welcome Stephane Teral. Stephane is the Chief Analyst, Light Counting Market Research. He's focusing on mobile infrastructure. And Stephane will talk to us about 5G data management. Hi, Stephane.
Bonjour, Erik.
Bonjour. So, Stephane, could you tell us a bit about your industry experience and your current market research in 5G, in particular subscriber data management?
Yes, Erik. Yes, of course. So at Light Counting, we are covering the whole wireless infrastructure. We do quarterly market trackers, but also we take a deep dive in very specific areas such as data management. And in June, July, we surveyed 26 service providers about their 5G, on the migration from 5G NSA non-standalone mode to standalone mode that requires the 5G core and the build out of a data management platform. So the sample of 26 service providers is very important, small number, but very significant in the sense that they account for half of the world's total telecom capex. And 30% of them were operating at the end of June of 2020, 30% were operating 5G commercial networks, all the 5G commercial networks we had in the first half of this year so far. And we asked them, of course, about their 5G core, and they were actively testing and some starting to deploy, in fact, the data management platform.
Oh, okay, yeah, exactly. So these are the big names of 5Gs, the movers and shakers, and the big money. So just remind us, what is data management? Well, what are the technical components of data management now when we talk about 5G?
Yes, of course. So broadly speaking, data management is the practice of collecting, keeping, using data securely, efficiently, and cost effectively. So in 5G, you have the service-based architecture. In it, you have data management, which is a very important part of it. And it is coming from the 4G home subscriber server, the HSS, that sits in the IMS core part of the overall EPC. And that is split into three major components. You have the Unified Data Management, UDM, the User Data Repository, UDR, and the Authentication Server Function, AUSF.
Okay, yes. So this is a new architecture. This 5G architecture is now the service-based architecture, and that's quite different from the previous Gs. And what does that mean for data management in this case?
Well, the beauty of this new architecture is the fact that it is split into many functions. We are coming from the 4G world. 4G was already simplifying 3G, but we still have the same components. Remember the serving gateway, the packet gateway to bridge the mobile infrastructure to the internet. So now we have basically split 6 blocks: traffic detection function, so the 2 gateways, the policy and charging rules functions, the mobile management entity, the home subscriber server that I just talked about, and we introduced CUPs, control plane and user plane separation. And this is exactly to make sure that we can deliver the use cases we have been promising since the beginning of the 5G discussion. And in particular, you need the user plane close to the use case. So then each block was further decomposed into network function, and the data management part, for the data management part, as I said previously, we took the HSS and broke it into UDM, UDR, and USF. And as a result of that, it's a more open environment, a more flexible environment, because you can literally pick and choose the breadth of breed function that you have available in the marketplace. So the bottom line is you break the vendor lock-in.
Right, because the database UDR, UDSF is now separate from the other functions. So you could pick your database from one vendor and then the other functions from somewhere
Yes,
else. So
absolutely.
that gives you that flexibility. So,
Yep.
so what do you see right now among operators? How are they implementing this new architecture, and especially the 5G data management? What are they doing?
Well, during the survey, we asked them among all the functions now we have available in 5G core service-based architecture, what exactly you were doing, what was the first phase of testing and for some deployment. And we found that they were looking at the UDM, Unified Data Management function in a multi-vendor environment. And to some extent, we can say this is mission accomplished because this is exactly what the plan was,
Right.
what the goal was in designing this 5G architecture. So it was very interesting to have them tell the story about looking at UDM from different vendors and looking at other functions from other vendors as opposed to go to one vendor and buy everything from the same vendor.
Right. So it's actually becoming true. So that's interesting. The 5G service-based architecture is actually opening up the playing field for maybe even new vendors. So what does the ecosystem of a vendor look like? Who are the suppliers now, and how do operators purchase 5G data management?
Very interesting question, because we do see some kind of a shakeout. Let me explain. I mean, typically you go to the traditional telecom network equipment vendors, and in particular, the 5 big RAN vendors. They have been playing in that field for some time. Then you have other types of players, and particularly coming from the OSS, BSS suppliers like Amdocs, also, doing some data management. But in between, you do have subscriber data management specialists like Enea from Sweden, for example, battling against big companies like HPE, IBM, Oracle. So everybody is trying to build its own ecosystem. The big companies like HP, for example, have open labs in order to, and by the way, they are not doing all the functions, by the way, which is also interesting because it invites service providers to look at the other functions that some of these big vendors are not.
And finally, what does the ecosystem, the vendor ecosystem, look like with all this open architecture here? It means more choice. There's more new suppliers and challenges. What is it you see on the market?
Yes, absolutely, Eric. We see some kind of a shakeout, if you wish, because this market has been dominated for some time by the traditional telecom network equipment vendors, and particularly what we label as the big RAN vendors, the big 5, because they tend to offer everything from the RAN all the way to the core. But now, this new architecture has opened up the door actually to new players. Well, new players, I mean, other players, give them their chance. However, this is also a big battleground for the big OSS BSS suppliers like Amdocs and NEC, Netcracker. And on the other side, you have the subscriber data management specialist. So the list is very short, actually, of these specialists. And you have Enea from Sweden. That is a very unique, because this is the smallest one battling against Oracle, IBM, or then there is another one, Computaris, that is coming from the HLR. So all these, and HPE that I didn't mention, coming from the HLR business as well. So, I mean, company like HPE has a long track record of dealing with HLR, and then, is a serious contender in the data management space. But what we have seen from the service providers' surveys is that they are willing to engage with different players for different network functions within the data management domain, because none of the players I mentioned actually can supply all the function at once. So, and this is the beauty of this new 5G architecture. It was made by design, since the early days of, okay, we break everything by function, and then we can actually invite new players, open up the API, it's open. Whoever has a very good idea to implement something, whether it's the function or additional function to a specific function, it's just fantastic. It's open, gives flexibility, agility.
All right, yeah, that's interesting. It actually gives the operator now more choice, more flexibility, a wider range of suppliers, including the specialists that you mentioned. So thank you, Stephane, for these insights about 5G data management, which is an increasingly important topic for mobile operators.
Of course, yes. So thank you, Erik.
So for more information, you can download a free paper that Stephane wrote recently about 5G data management. That also features a profile of Enea as a specialist. Also, check out the light counting website for market research on wireless infrastructure. So thank you for watching this podcast, and please look out for more of these 10-minute expert insights brought to you by Enea. Thank you.
Thank you.